This is James, the comic book Shifu, and welcome to Read More Comics. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you a spoiler-free review of books that have been in my read pile. Per the reading habits I've shared in other videos, I prefer to wait until I've collected multiple issues in a particular series, in a particular story arc run, if it's an event, if it's a crossover, and read it all at once instead of waiting month to month reading in an episodic format. I recognize that this is the intent of the publishers of comics, but since the pandemic, it is not the reading habits that I've developed. As many collectors may realize, during the pandemic, publication of books slowed down to a point where some of the bigger publishers were not publishing at all. This did give a lot of collectors an opportunity to get back into comic book collecting, or for newcomers to get involved and begin building up their personal collection, looking at getting back issues from LCSs or the secondary market through eBay or whatnot, etc. Anyways, I ended up, as a result of that, building up stock, and rather than ignoring it all, I began reading through some of my older story arcs, my older runs, excuse me, and then when publication began again, I was a little behind, and it's become the preferred reading method, what I prefer rather than trying to keep up month to month. Anyway, so I'm going to try to keep this spoiler free. I'm going to move to this side and just share kind of my feedback on how the story's been going. Again, not alluding to any specific element of a particular book, arc, or event. I want you to decide for yourself. In no way am I going to recommend, my collar's all functified, what you should or should not buy. Personal tastes would dictate that. And a lot of these books, here's a caveat, they're in my collection because I prefer the art, specific characters. I do follow specific creators, both artists and writers, and that's going to be an element of that. All right, so let's get into this. The first series I'm going to share, this is actually a current event that's occurring, a crossover between Catwoman and Batman. This is Gotham War. I've already shared these books, and in this event, what is occurring is, and I have to, this probably works better. Here we go. I have to give credit to Chip Zdarsky. He is going back to fill in what I have felt for some time to be a flaw in some of the Batman events. In the bigger events in his predecessors, we're talking Tynion, Tom King, Scott Snyder, all of these writers would have large events like Joker War or City of Bane, that would engulf all of Gotham into some dystopic, futuristic society where there's literally war on the streets. Here, this is a low-level crime war, basically, between Catwoman and her band of merry thieves and Batman. And so what I'm enjoying about it is kind of that nature, that it is not engulfing all of Gotham, because I think that is a flaw that some authors, some writers have kind of dived into, and instead making it something where it's Batman fighting a small band of criminals. The reason why I think it's a flaw, honestly, it kind of begs the question, if this is what Gotham's like, why does anybody live there? Why does the government literally let people live in Gotham, right? Anyway, so have I been enjoying this? Yes, totally have. I don't know if they're going to stick the landing. That can be an issue with any crossover event. Not only are they going to stick the landing, but also what are going to be the long-term ramifications. I have hope that there are some, because Chip Zdarsky has been playing on over his several story arcs. I think we're up to, this is his third arc so far, I think. Anyway, that Batman's getting tired. You know, he's physically and emotionally, mentally fatigued. So I'm hopeful that this continues on. I'm also hopeful that they do continue building on a relationship between Batman and Catwoman. I think that is an element of Tom King's run that, as a fan, I've enjoyed. It gives some depth to Batman other than, you know, the mission. Anyway, it also has put Batman's family into an interesting oppositional relationship with Bruce Wayne. Anyway, so I do recommend this unless you're a Batman fan. And if you're a Batman fan, you're probably pulling this already. I'd wait for the trade. It's going to have all the elements of it, including the tie-in. The nice thing about this crossover, there's not a bajillion tie-ins like other companies, Marvel, would do. The only tie-in is we have 2 issues of Red Hood, which I don't think he has an ongoing title anyways right now. The covers are gorgeous. We have Delato covers. This is a Lobos cover. I got this with Bane. And then this is, I don't know, Sway. Catwoman cover. So if you want to collect it for beautiful art, definitely get the individual issues. Otherwise, the trade probably be worth it. Next up, we have Batman Beyond Neo Gothic. This is a continuation by the same creative team that started with Batman Beyond Gothic. And they're continuing. I'm not sure who the big bad in this is. What's kind of cool is, and this reminds me of, this is kind of going to be kind of interesting, of Star Wars. On Coruscant, they have levels of the planet where the richest, powerful elite live near the surface, and then the lower you go, the more decrepit your life is. So they're playing kind of on that, on Gotham being this mega city that has, you know, the elite, the wealthy, those that are more capable to support themselves up higher up, and literally the lower you are in socioeconomic status, the lower you are in Gotham. So they're kind of playing on that. That's kind of cool. I like how they're bringing in elements of Batman lore into this. And so it's been kind of a fun run. This is with Batman Beyond Gothic, my first venture into Batman Beyond. Really enjoyed the animated series. This kind of has that feel to it. The art has that feel to it. And the covers are pretty spectacular. Here we have, this is King Croc. And then, so if you like Batman Beyond, I think you'd enjoy the series. There is some changes, and this is kind of interesting. This is not a spoiler because this came out many, many months ago, like I think 2 years ago. There was an issue of, it was another Batman title. I think it was the anthology title. I don't remember the name. But in that, Bruce Wayne died. And so Terry McGinnis is now without that mentor and leadership in Batman, where he has to step into the role finally, graduate to the position of being Batman. So really enjoyable read. They're adding a bunch of new characters to it. They did that in the first maxi series. I believe this is a maxi series too, where there's only going to be 12 issues. So if you're trade waiting, might be the way to go. And you could just pick up both Gothic and Neo Gothic, but definitely a fun read. Recommend this. And it has a different feel than the other Batman books. Next up is Shazam. These are the Samney covers. The interior art is Dave Mora and resemble Samney's covers in many ways. The writer's Mark Waid. Oh, skipped a book. Oh, sorry, that's the next series. Okay. I'm a big Shazam fan. It goes all the way back to the TV series. Really enjoying this. There is an innocence that comes out in this series that I think goes back to the fact that the characters, the heroes, even though they physically resemble adults with superpowers, are children. And so Mark Waid is able to capture that innocence, that innocent perspective in his writing. Dan Mora's art is on point in representing that too. This does pull in some of the elements of Shazam's history, current history from other titles. Like this was in, let's see, there was some appearances in the Night Terrors miniseries or event this past summer, and some other elements prior to that. I think it was in, what was it? Lazarus Planet. Okay, so there's some complications coming out on that. And it's great that Mark Waid, just like we saw in Chip Zdarsky and the other writers doing in the other Batman event, the Gotham War, where they're playing on the recent history. They're not ignoring canon, but they're making that a part of the story. So definitely would recommend this. I like the individual issues because we get gorgeous cover art. But, you know, if hunting down the individual issues isn't your thing, trade wait. Then last, this is a Marvel title. I'm running out of books. I have a stack of books over here about to fall off the surface I'm putting it on. Is Miles Morales. Oh, wait a minute. I got two more titles. So I'm going to skip the last one. Sorry, it was Red Sonja. I enjoyed Red Sonja. Anyway, Miles Morales. This is the current run with, let's see, Ziggler. I think it's Cody Ziggler. Or is that a wrestler? Anyway, we have a new writer on this. He picked up on this new volume. This is 8, 9, and 10. And the nice thing about this is it would be pretty easy to jump into Miles Morales here instead of trying to hunt down his older runs. It's not that those aren't important, but I think especially with issue 8, what I enjoyed about what the writer and the artist are doing, the creative team is doing, is we get to see Miles Morales doing normal things, which is, I think, is a flaw of other stories. We don't oftentimes get to see a hero engaging in normal activity. We always see them on job, on their mission. And so this would be a good entry point with issue number 8, where it introduces Miles Morales, some of the other characters. They're engaging in a normal event for where they live in Brooklyn. You get to see the interaction between the characters, the mindset of Miles, and these other personalities that play a role in his life. And that's one of the reasons why I do enjoy Miles Morales, is we get to see him develop as a person and a hero, where some of these other titles, we don't oftentimes get to do that because, like even for the Shazam title, for example, that title has been going on for decades, where Miles Morales is a relatively new character. The nice thing about what the writer's been doing, instead of having arcs of 5 issues, he's been telling stories that might only be 1, 2, or 3 issues. And so, again, this is a nice jumping in point. There's a reintroduction of the Hobgoblin, and this is an introduction of the Hobgoblin to Miles Morales. I mean, this is nice. This is not a spoiler. You get to see some of Miles's new powers, and how he is being introduced to some new antagonists. So this would be one I would recommend getting the individual issues, because you could start just right here with issue number 8. If you're looking for a Spider-Man book to jump into, if you liked Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales is the book I'd recommend. And this is where you could jump in. Again, it's a personal preference, just my recommendation. You get to do as a collector what you have a passion for and where you want to go with both reading but also adding to your personal collection. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my reviews. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would appreciate any comments on the information I've given, questions, opinions, and would enjoy the dialogue. With that, thank you for watching another one of my videos.